This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. Trent for the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's Wood. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Red Side of the Trent, here to give you the lowdown on our new manager in Ange Postecoglou. I have got a Tottenham fan in Stu Coy on, who does a lot of TikTok videos. If you've not seen him about, he's very well known. You might recognise his face. Stu, how are you, first of all?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Obviously getting by. What about yourself?
Yeah, a hectic morning as I woke up to go play paddle, and my teammate for the day said, "Have you seen the news?" I said, "No." He goes, "Nuno's getting sacked." I said, "All right, bloody Nora, what?" And then it's just divulged into chaos, as you can imagine. What's your early thoughts on this? I obviously watched your TikTok video, which you tagged ourselves in, and I watched it, and I thought it was quite an honest sort of slight overview, and what could happen. But for those that might have not seen it, what's your thoughts early doors?
Well, first of all, I'm pretty shocked, to be fair, that you've actually got rid of the man that gave you the most successful season in quite a while, to be honest. Obviously, I woke up this morning, same as you, and Nuno got you guys in Europe last year, and he doubled your points total, and it's whatever's gone on has gone on behind closed doors. And yeah, to be honest, I'm pretty shocked that it's actually happened. I'm glad Ange is back in football, I must admit. Like, I have a big soft spot for Ange. I really do. After delivering our first trophy in such a long time, it's always going to be part of how we look at our football club, obviously. But moving forward, it's good that he's back finally in a job. I didn't believe it had been a Premier League, but here he is. So
I mean, what during last season with Tottenham, obviously, it was quite evident that he might have kind of tossed off the rest of the Premier League season for the Europa League. Do you agree with that? That's what he potentially did. Is that why the record ended up being so bad? 22 league defeats is quite damning, and 17th for a club like Tottenham is also it's poor, isn't it?
Oh, it's excusable. It should be happening to a so-called Big Six side, not to that extent. But he did definitely 100% kind of give up on the league, and in all honesty, it kind of paved the way for us to go on and play a different style of brand of football in the Europa League and go on to win it. I believe if we probably threw our eggs all into the league as well, we might have got more injuries, and but that might not have happened. So I kind of get why he done it. Obviously, it was very frustrating as a Spurs fan going to games and obviously walking away with the amount of losses we did. But like I said, he's when he's football, when he's on it, it can work, and it's a attractive brand of football. It's an attacking style, and when you first watch it in real life, it is like you almost like believe you can't believe what you're watching. Sometimes it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure.
Let's take last season out of it. The first season Ange come, the season that Tottenham had at the start was unbelievable, especially with no Harry Kane after he left for Bayern Munich. You come fifth in the end. I mean, what drastically changed from being fifth to 17th? Was it the fact that his style was just too much for the squad, so he was getting too many injuries, or was it just something not quite working and he was too stubborn to change anything?
I believe it's a bit of both. Obviously, when he first was announced it was coming to our football club, obviously I was a bit wary of it, thinking, we've got a Scottish manager, he dominated Celtic, but obviously no disrespect to the Scottish football. Obviously, a lot of managers go in there and do what he done. So when he first come to us, I kind of like was on the fence a little bit, thinking, here we go. But he kind of sucks you in with his demeanour and the way he is and the way he talks, and he's a very, very intelligent man, and he kind of sucks you in. And the season started, like you said, after 10 games, we're top of the league. We are absolutely dominating sides. We look absolutely solid. Teams can't work us out. We're looking at 7 men ahead of the ball pressing. it was incredible to watch, and we were all sitting there thinking, oh my God, what's happened here? Where's this guy come from? And then all of a sudden we start sustaining a few injuries. It wasn't just injuries; it was like to key players, obviously Mickey van der Ven, the likes of Romero. Obviously, suspensions kicked in, and it just had a knock-on effect on the season. And I think Ange Postecoglou, as much as he deserves all the praise in the world, I think he also kind of put himself in a situation there where it was always not going to work because he was so stubborn not to change his tactics. We lost our two main centre halves in obviously Romero and Mickey van der Ven, who you can just about get away of playing on the halfway line. But when you've got the likes of Dragerson and Ben Davies, who are our backups, starting games on the halfway line, and you're not adjusting your tactics, you're kind of asking for trouble. So I think he was kind of like very, very stuck in his ways and very like arrogant to a point where he wouldn't change it. And that for me was where I started seeing the cracks, and I could see things starting to fall apart. But up the first 10 games of football is some of the best football I think I've ever seen us play.
Do you think the pressure of being at Tottenham, and I mean, people might scoff, they might laugh or whatever, but Tottenham are a big club. You've built a massive stadium, you've got £1 billion squad, quite arguably. Do you think the pressure ever got to him, and that's why maybe he was a bit stubborn in his ways, and then maybe he didn't want to show vulnerability? Is that maybe the correct term?
I wouldn't put it down to that exactly. I'd more put it down to the fact that he's just trying to prove a point. He's a very, very stubborn person, and he has one way of playing and one way only. And this is what Nottingham Forest, you're going to find out. You're going to get the highs and you're going to get the lows. He's like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. There is no in between, And when it's working, like you Forest fans are absolutely going to love the brand of football. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. But when it goes wrong, that's when you really look at your manager and you see what you've really got. And what I watched for the last year and a half, I've watched a guy on the sideline really emotionless, didn't want to change tactics, and you want something from your manager. And we didn't get it. And as fans, it was so hard because he literally like embedded himself in like our hearts because he's such a nice person. And like I said, you guys, you'll see a lot more of him now, and you'll see what kind of person he is. He's a family man. He's got morals. He's got standards. He sets everything perfectly. And we all wanted him to succeed, like more than anything in his football club.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I think like quite a lot of people and the jury would definitely be out in terms of his personality because he says mate a lot, and it's an Australian type of thing, and how he was a bit brash with reporters and everything else. I just feel like there's going to be a certain group of Forest fans that aren't going to buy into that. I feel like it's just going to take results. Realistically though, Stu, he can't play the same brand of football he did with you, with our football team. I just don't see it being possible. So really, I'm already talking to myself into it. It's already a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, it's hard because I would love to sit here and say to you guys, look, he's going to obviously identify your squad's strengths and your weaknesses and adapt the game plan to that. But if it is the same Ange Postecoglou turned up at Spurs and at Celtic and all these other teams, he's going to play the same way. He will play the same way on the front foot, aggressive front-footed football, high press, high line. But when you play in these, you get risk and reward football, and after obviously the rewards come, that's when the risks come. And obviously, as you saw, not just Tottenham, by the way, the amount of injuries we had last 2 seasons has been absolutely incredible. The hamstring injuries went through the roof. And this isn't a common theme either. It was the same at Celtic as well. All the time is at Celtic, but the difference between Celtic and Tottenham is Celtic, you can get away of having injuries in that league and still go on to be successful. Where if you lose your best players in the Premier League, no matter what club you are, you're going to struggle. And that was my biggest gripe with Ange in the end. It was the fact that he just wasn't prepared to change how he looked at the team and thought, you know what, I can't play the same way when I haven't got X, Y, and Z in the team. And he just didn't do it. He just never changed the way he set us up or anything. And apart from Europa League, the Europa League, he set us up differently. He set us up defensively sound, solid. We went to Frankfurt, obviously hadn't not scored a goal, I believe, in like 2 years at home. And we went there and won 1-0. And we were absolutely defensively solid, Bodo as well. Beat some European giants at home, made games look quite comfortable, quite easy. We went there again. They've scored in every game at home for a long period of time. Again, another clean sheet. So he has got it in his locker to basically play a more pragmatic way and a more defensive way. But it's just wherever he will do it. I think he done it for Spurs to prove a point because obviously he gave the old, I'm going to win a trophy in my second season. But I believe in the league, he was a bit too arrogant and a bit too kind of, it's my way or the highway. But he can change it. He has proven he can change it. So it'd be interesting to see what he does at Forest, for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping he finds a balance because we all want to see attacking football. And I mean, I remember watching quite a lot of that Tottenham side that come fifth, and I was like, this is amazing to watch. Like, brilliant. He seems like a brilliant character, great for the Premier League. He's brash. He's honest. He's out there. And you just think that's great. We've got something back that we've not had in the Premier League for a long time. The football was front foot. I just don't know if he's got the same qualities at Forest. I'd like to think we might do, but I just think from your point of view, especially Stu, I don't think you would look at our squad and go, oh yeah, they can go and play the same way. It just does not. I don't. Someone like Milenkovic is gonna look like a clown playing Ange football, because even Romero looked like a bit of a clown at some points under Ange playing that way, because it's just not his stick kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've had this conversation with like several fan bases myself, and I've always explained this to people. Like sometimes, like for Romero, for me, like I've always said it, I honestly believe he is better than what people give him credit for. But again, I watched him under Ange, and I watched him, and he was pretty atrocious a lot of the time. But I don't put it down just to Romero, the way that he plays. I put it down to the fact that the way we set up the inverted fullbacks, 7 players ahead of the ball. So when they were breaking, we had like Romero trying to cover 70 yards of space. But if you watch him for Argentina, he's absolutely solid. He's arguably their best defender. And it does pull people apart. And if you look at Romero this season compared, he looks solid again, because he's given a right platform, he's given protection in front of him. And with Ange, you don't get that. You do not get the protection that you need. And if you're not a comfortable centre half playing in 1v1s and obviously covering a lot of spaces, it's very, very difficult. And not just covering space as well. That's where your injuries come. Mickey van der Ven was probably doing 10, 15, 60, 70 yard sprints a game, and that's not right for a centre half. Look at all the top centre halves who've ever played football, the Ferdinands, the Maldinis. They read the game so well, they never really have to sprint, but Ange Postecoglou wants you to play that way, and then that's when you get the chaos of the injuries. So yeah. it will be definitely interesting to see if he does play that way. But again, I believe I believe he'll come into Forest, and I think he will play that way. I don't see him changing the way that he believes in. He firmly believes in that front foot attacking high press football, and I don't see it changing. I really don't.
I don't think I need to ask you how you think it will go overall. Then really, I think you kind of might give that, and you might within what you're saying. I think you've already given me the answer that I think. I don't think we'll finish as high as we might have done under Nuno, but then again, the opposite might have happened because we're not evolving with the times and playing too much low block football. So, like you said, he's got the capability of doing it. He did it in the Europa League, so he might do. Who knows? It might be a different Ange Postecoglou we're dealing with because he's working for his mate and will want to do well, I guess. With only an 18-month contract, you want to earn more time at the club, I suppose. So we'll see if he was going to pick a player from the Forest team that you could think off the top of your head who might thrive under this new system that could be implemented with Ange in due time. Who would you pinpoint that on?
Believe it or not, I'd say the 2 midfielders. I'd say Louise and Gibbs White. For me, I think they're kind of the Ange Postecoglou players, high intensity players, good ball players, risk takers, a lot of legs as well in midfield. I think they definitely can thrive from this system. that again, like when I was watching the Tottenham midfielders, almost because the fullbacks invert so much, they take up a lot of space sometimes as well, which gets a bit congested in there as well. But obviously, for this system to work, you need to have two very, very good left back and right back who are comfortable on the ball. His whole system defines on two good fullbacks. Like obviously inverting, coming the extra midfielder, being as good as a centre midfielder on the ball, which is not many out there to be fair, because obviously centre midfield's a specialist position. But that's what his system will rely on. But I do believe, like I say, Gibbs, White, and obviously Douglas Luiz, I believe they can thrive definitely in this action-packed system. You know, both can score goals and very attacking players. So
maybe Elliot Anderson in that mix as well. Hopefully,
no, definitely. Obviously, you know, up and coming, great player. Honestly, he's definitely one to keep an eye on for the future for sure.
Yeah, Stu, thank you very much for giving us the lowdown on Ange Postecoglou. How can people see your content? Obviously, I know you've got the TikTok there. Is that mainly where people can find you?
Yeah, mainly. Yeah, I've obviously started up my YouTube now. Obviously, Stu Coys is my YouTube channel. So any of those two platforms, obviously, I'll be on there. So that's hit me up.
Nice one. Thank you, Stu. And anyone, if you want to check out any more of our pods, do drop a like and subscribe. We'll see you the next one. Come on, you Reds.